Hi everybody, this is John Sneisen from World Alternative Media, and today it's actually some happy news, and of course this is around Christmas time, so I was very pleased to see that Mrs. Lagarde actually got convicted over paying out money when she was a French finance minister, and that really, of course, primed her for a position at the International Monetary Fund. Now, while Mrs. Lagarde, who always denied any wrongdoing, was not present in court, of course, because she was in Washington, D.C., hanging out with all her other corrupt politician friends, the IMF board said that it has retained full confidence in Mrs. Lagarde and her leadership. Well, isn't that funny? Because her leadership, of course, fits perfectly within the International Monetary Fund, where she just, instead of, the 404 million euro that she gave in a corrupt case back in France, of course, now she's just doing it in the billions to, countries and corrupt leaders around the world. So, of course, she's a perfect fit to, and it would be really weird if she wasn't, of course, convicted, because there's always been convicted felons in the International Monetary Fund. Of course, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, that was just the recent one that got ousted because of his sexual charges with hookers and so on. Now, of course, she said that she would not appeal against the ruling. There's a point in time when one has to just stop, turn the page, and move on and continue to work with those who have put their trust in me. Yeah, of course, everybody at the IMF is trusting you because they're as corrupt as you, Mrs. Lagarde. Now, of course, she was tried on the charges of negligence by a person in position of public authority and accused of allowing the misuse of public funds rather than actual corruption. She could potentially have been sentenced for 2 years in prison and a fine of 15,000 euros, but she escaped the sentence and emerges from the trial without any criminal record. What a great time. Of course, these globalist crooks that we have around the world, they wouldn't, get in any trouble. They just get around, they do whatever they want in the world's two-tiered justice system. Now, of course, explaining the verdict, which took many by surprise, the judge, Martin Racht-Madoux, the context of the global financial crisis in which Madame Lagarde found herself in should be taken into account. Now, I thought we didn't have a financial crisis. I thought everything was fine and everything was going great around the world. Like, how come they said that? There's no financial problems in the world. Everything is fine. Let's just go around and sing Christmas carols and enjoy the season while these corrupt officials are stealing our money. Hey, that's totally fine with me. The IMF, of course, are now, and of course media is saying, well, who could the next IMF chief if Lagarde loses her job? Well, of course, they said she wasn't. But of course, there's going to be pressure now, to get her out again and to replace her with another criminal. There's, of course, the list, the wish list of the International Monetary Fund Santas. And I'm going to go into a couple. And of course, there's Raghuram Rajan from India, which, might be a guy. Of course, he was the one that warned him about the crisis in 2008 that was coming. Now, I don't know, if he would be any better. He was at the India's central bank just recently, and of course raised the interest rates there. Of course, they're just the same bunch, academics that believe that we can centrally plan everything. But then we got Agustin Carstens, which is a Mexican economist that would runner up to Lagarde. He served as executive director and deputy manager at the fund in the earlier 2000s. And of course, wouldn't it be great to have somebody that are in the country that are devaluing the currency for the population? Well, you could say that. Well, how about Tidjane Thiam, which is 55? He is actually at Credit Suisse, which is a chief executive, who has also led insurance giant Prudential. So, of course, another, corrupt bankster that, want to take part in saving the world and implementing a world reserve currency with special drawing rights. And of course the golden boy currently, which destroyed Canada's economics, now of course is destroying Britain pretty good. He could be one of the guys that could get into the IMF. Wouldn't that be great, having the golden boy, Goldman Sachs boy, Mark Carney in the IMF? Oh, that would be fantastic, having these Keynesians wanting to really implement and imprison everybody. Now, George Osborne, which is 45, the man who was booted from Downing Street by Prime Minister Theresa May, by maybe looking, for a next big role, because these politicians, they just want more and more power, of course, and wouldn't it be epic to have a place where you could just do any corrupt activity that you want and get away with it? That's, the ultimate goal of the IMF is to, of course, enslave us and implement the special drawing rights. And that they're going to really work hard on this. And I, of course, was very pleased by seeing that Mrs. Lagarde was proven that she was corrupt, as she is. And I just have one more little message to Mrs. Lagarde. And that is, Joyeux Noël, Christine Lagarde. This is John Sneisen, and I'm signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.